Welcome to the Back on Track Achieving Healthy Weight Loss podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alicia Shelly. Have you ever wondered if hormones are making it difficult to lose weight? Well, today we're going to be discussing how hormones play a role in weight gain and how to balance these hormones for weight loss. Hormones are chemical messengers produced by glands in the endocrine system. Their main purpose is to regulate and coordinate various psychological processes in the body and to maintain balance and homeostasis. There are hormonal conditions that make it so difficult for people to lose weight, such as insulin resistance. And we're going to focus on insulin in today's episode. Now, first, let's talk about what insulin actually is. So insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas that plays a critical role in regulating blood sugar or glucose levels and energy storage in the body. Now, insulin can work 5 ways. Number 1, it regulates your blood sugar levels. So after you eat something that has carbohydrates in it, it could be a piece of bread, it can be pasta, even fruit has carbohydrates in it. Your body takes that food, breaks it down into sugar, blood sugar, or AKA glucose, which enters the bloodstream. As the blood sugar levels start to rise, the pancreas releases insulin. Insulin's job is to signal the body's cells, such as your muscles, your fats, your liver cells, to say, hey, we got sugar on board. We need you to utilize this sugar, and you utilize that for energy. So the body will take that blood sugar or glucose and bring it into the cells to utilize for energy. This helps to maintain your blood sugar level. So even though after you eat, your body utilizes that sugar for energy and the levels go down. I like to think of insulin as like that key that opens the lock so you can open the door for the sugar to go into the cells and be utilized. That's the first thing. It regulates blood sugar level. So the second way that insulin works is that it actually stores glucose for energy. Because like I said, once you eat, you have so much blood sugar or glucose in the bloodstream. So you got to get rid of it or it can cause problems. So one way how to get rid of it is that the cells utilize it for energy. The second way to get rid of that blood sugar is that you store it. And so insulin also helps to store excess glucose called glycogen in the liver and the muscles. This is helpful because let's say if you're fasting or if you haven't eaten, the body can go into those stores and pull that out and utilize that for energy. So the ways it works, it regulates blood sugar levels, it stores glucose for energy. The other thing that it can do is that insulin can promote the storage of excess glucose in fat cells. So basically the glucose can be stored in fat. It can lead to more fat deposits. So the third way that insulin works is that it stops glucose production by the liver. So the liver typically releases glucose into the bloodstream when you're fasting or between meals. But when insulin is present, it signals the liver to slow down or stop the process to prevent excess blood sugar levels. So when your sugars go low, the body automatically creates or releases glucose into the bloodstream so that we can maintain your level. The fourth thing that insulin does is that it promotes protein synthesis. So insulin not only helps to regulate glucose, but it also promotes the uptake of amino acids into cells. Amino acids are helpful in producing protein, which supports protein creation and also heals tissue repair, especially in the muscles. So if you're exercising a little bit too much, you may have some soreness, amino acids come into the body to help with protein creation and tissue repair. The fifth thing that insulin does is that it prevents fat breakdown. So when insulin levels are high, the hormone stops the breakdown of fat for energy, which means instead the body uses that sugar that's already in the bloodstream for the primary energy source. But if insulin levels are low, such as during fasting, then fat is broken down for energy. So what happens is, like I said, so the 5 ways that insulin works is number 1, it regulates body blood sugar levels. Number 2, it stores glucose energy. Number 3, it stops glucose production by the liver. Number 4, promotes protein synthesis. And number 5, it prevents fat from being broken down. So there are certain conditions where people can experience insulin resistance. So insulin resistance can be seen in conditions like polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS and prediabetes and diabetes. What exactly is insulin resistance? Well, I'm glad you asked. Insulin resistance occurs when cells become less responsive to insulin signals. So the insulin is there telling the muscles and the liver and the heart to open the door, get the sugar that's already there. But what's happening is that the cells are looking at insulin like, oh, I don't know you at all. Who are you? What? And they're not responding. They're not taking that sugar and bringing it into the cells for energy. This leads to the pancreas to produce more insulin because maybe it just wasn't enough. So it produces more insulin to lower those blood sugars. But what happens over time, this chronically higher levels of insulin can lead to low fat breakdown and increased fat storage, which then leads to weight gain. That's why a lot of people, when it's trying to lose weight, especially in those who have PCOS, prediabetes, and diabetes, it's a lot harder and you lose less weight than other people because of that insulin resistance. Now let's talk about how we can manage our insulin levels. And there are some lifestyle changes that we can start to implement. Now, the first thing is going to be limiting foods that can cause rapid spikes in blood sugars. These are going to be foods like your sugary drinks, your mellow yellow, your sodas, your caffeine beverages that have lots of sugar in them. This can definitely increase your sugar levels rapidly. Also, foods like white bread, pastas, pastries, processed snacks, they can elevate your blood sugar and increase the demand for insulin. So it's so important to choose complex carbs, such as whole grains, vegetables, legumes, or beans that have a lower glycemic index, like how fast or how quickly they increase your blood sugar levels, and they don't cause sharp rises in blood sugar. And this reduces the need of large amounts of insulin because it does take time for the body to digest these complex carbs. So it's important to adopt a low carbohydrate diet and reduce sugar and refined carbs in our diet. Also, it's important to increase fiber intake. Foods that are high in soluble fiber, such as oats, beans, flax seeds, they slow down the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream, reducing the insulin response after meals. Also, they allow you to be more regular, so it's helpful. Secondly, incorporate more vegetables like leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower into your meals. They provide fiber without causing an insulin spike because they are low carbohydrate. Next, it's important to exercise regularly. Aerobic exercises like walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, they help improve insulin sensitivity by helping muscles to use sugar, blood sugar, or glucose more efficiently, and also reduces the need for insulin. And don't forget your strength training because that resistance exercises increase your muscle mass, which also helps lower your blood sugar levels and improve how your body responds to insulin. And you can always use that high intensity interval training or HIIT workouts because that can actually improve your insulin sensitivity. Because when you exercise, especially with these short bursts of intense exercise, it actually causes that sugar to be utilized by the muscles more quickly. And it also reduces your fasting insulin levels. And last but not least, it's important to get a good night's rest. Sleep deprivation or poor sleep is associated with insulin resistance and higher insulin levels. So aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night and stick to a consistent sleep schedule, which will help you with being able to have better sleep and lower insulin levels. And I said last but not least, but one more thing is that we need to limit our alcohol consumption because excessive alcohol is a type of a sugar. And drinking large amounts of alcohol can interfere with blood sugar regulation and increase our insulin resistance. So reducing alcohol intake can help maintain stable insulin levels. And of course, don't forget to drink water and to stay hydrated. That's most important. So with that being said, I know in this episode, we talked a lot about insulin and how it can affect your weight loss. And so just a couple of takeaways that I want you to remember is that insulin is important. It's important in regulating not only our blood sugar levels, it's important in storing glucose for energy, and also it can stop glucose production by the liver. But when it's too high levels, it can lead to more fat deposits and weight gain. So it's important to find ways to help improve your insulin, such as increasing your fiber intake, exercising regularly, strength training, and of course, getting enough rest. So I thank you so much for your time today. And I hope you come back to next week when we actually talk about cortisol and how cortisol affects your weight as well. Please feel free, if you enjoyed this episode on the Back on Track Achieving Healthy Weight Loss, please share it with others, like it and subscribe. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time.